Well, hello, hello. I'm gonna wait for some people to join us. Okay. All right. So hopefully, this is looking pretty good. I think we got a good setup here. Let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and just wait a few more minutes to get this started. Let's see. All right. So it looks like we got some people coming in. Hey, everyone. So we're gonna just give it a few more minutes, make sure a lot of folks can come in. This is really exciting, but I should probably preface that there's a few things you'll need. So let me see if I can get something going around here so we can make sure that everyone can get a chance to learn a little bit about what they're gonna need. Grateful, yeah, no, for sure. It's great. There's a lot more wonderful things coming. There's a lot of bigger updates, but all in due time and great more things to show up. So I'm glad everyone's digging it. That makes me really happy. So thank you. All right, let's see. I could have sworn that we had some details here. Well, let's see. Let me see if I can get a banner up so we can at least put some messages here because I'm sure there's going to be some questions. Let me just create a banner real quick. Let's see. Uh, so hopefully everyone has a compatible device or just wants to learn about how easy it is to create some AR experiences on iOS or Mac. Um, because this is going to be really good. So let me see if I can go ahead and get this work. All right, there we go. So without reading, oh, you just joined? Hey, you know what? It's going to be a good session. If you really are curious about augmented reality, it's something that I used to do a lot about. So unfortunately, I don't have anything for Windows. That's the one thing that is unfortunately like the barrier is that there is no there's a few AR tools, but as something as simple as AR, there's nothing on Windows in the same league. They don't have well, Apple doesn't because Apple doesn't do anything once, but on Windows alone, the only way you can really do AR is I don't know if Project Arrow does it, but I think Project Arrow is only for devices, which is Adobe. Adobe, hey, how's it going? Yeah, you can sit back. It's something just to keep in mind for sure. So Adobe Arrow, do they do a Windows one? It says desktop beta, so maybe. Nope, that's on my Mac. Does it do for Windows though? Let me ask this real quick. Um, so this is so interesting because AR is such a wonderful tool. Obviously, it requires some mobile device for the camera and so for all these other things. Um, but I'm curious if there is a desktop version. So yes, there is a desktop beta app for Adobe's version of AR. So that's really good. That means it's this. Yes, this one is a very device specific one. Um, yeah, Mac or iOS. But if you're curious, there is. I'm gonna share this with everyone. This is Adobe's version of it. It's not as simple. It has its own quirks, but it does work. So if you do want to still work with an AR kind of situation or want to do something really easily, then for sure that's what you want to do. So highly recommend that some folks kind of just consider all the options. It's not just Apple being the only one you can do AR experiences on. Adobe has it as well. It's a very different experience, but all right. So why don't we get started here and I kind of walk everyone through how this is possible. I think what I want to do is showcase my screen so that I can kind of walk everyone through how this works, give a little bit of background information. And again, you can just sit back, relax, get some ideas here. Here's a question. Do the skills required to build AR and iOS the same skills are required? Kind of. It's all kind of like 3D engine. It's all kind of like background into how space works in terms of like three-dimensional spaces and things, models, animations, very similar. It's worth saying that the skills are transferable. The interface won't be the same, but the general idea is basically the same. So it's not like, oh, I only know how to do this, but and we won't be going into like Xcode or anything super deep. It's really high level stuff, which is still kind of the overall idea. So let me just go ahead and share my screen so we can go ahead and get started to learn about how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and do an inline. I'm going to present, and then let me just present my whole screen. And before I do that, let me make sure that I can get another monitor, because if I can get another monitor here, then I can read the comments and make sure I'm answering any questions that come through. So let me go ahead and try this one more time, and then we'll get started. So let's see. There we go. Okay. And then let's go ahead and try presenting again. So go to present. Nope, it didn't like that. Okay. Oh, well, that's fine. Let's just go ahead and share the screen. Hi. So this is definitely for beginners, but iOS is a huge piece of how this works. So I'm just going to keep the broadcast on the left. You may see that. In fact, let me double check that you can see my screen. There we go. Awesome. If you're new to iOS, it's not a problem. So, all right. So don't mind the broadcasting here. I don't have another monitor, but this is called Reality Composer. Reality Composer is an AR tool for iOS and for Mac. And what's really important to know is that, and I'm dropping the link in the chat, is AR creation's really easy on Apple devices. They make it extremely easy, which really is good because a little bit of context, creating things in AR and VR in general, but AR specifically, is kind of still tricky. You need a graphics engine like Unity. So if you're not familiar with Unity 3D, this is a very great engine for creating these experiences. It's popular, but it has a huge barrier. It's super complex to even get to a point where you can actually go from your idea to the device. There's a lot of steps in between to make that happen. The same thing happens with the Unreal Engine. If you are familiar with the Unreal Engine, same thing, a little bit more complex, completely different, powerful, but is going to still not be as easy. So what I want to focus on is making really easy iOS experiences. This is beginners week. So we also want to make things really easy for beginners, but we also want to make sure that people are learning some skills that are really cool. So Reality Composer is the name of the game here. Reality Composer is the tool that allows you to easily build, test, simulate, kind of experience augmented reality experiences. So over here on the right, this is my phone. So this is my actual phone that I've connected. And you can kind of see, I'm going to show you right here. So this is my phone, and we're going to be able to explore how we're going to build a really cool experience using Reality Composer. So on here, I'm just going to give you a preview. I'm not going to go through any steps, so just bear with me. But I want to kind of show you what we're playing with. I have a rocket, and this toy rocket, if I simulate it, what it's going to do is it's going to shoot up in the air and go all the way high. And so what that's going to look like in the real life is here where I'm currently am in the MLH office. I kind of have the rocket ship. I can walk around it. I can kind of like put my hand. It showed it clues, but I might have to turn that setting on. But essentially, I can kind of play where it goes. And using augmented reality, I can easily just see it take off. So that's the beauty of using an Apple device with Reality Composer, where I'm going to show you how easy it is to create what I just did. So I'm going to be checking on the comments, make sure everyone's okay. But the first thing you want to do is, if you want to follow along, there's one thing you'll need for an iPhone or an iPad. It doesn't matter which one, it's either or. You just need to look up Reality Composer in the App Store. So it's as simple as going to the App Store, and you can just go here and just look up Reality Composer. And you can download it. Again, just like with most Apple products, it's free. So as long as you already have an Apple device, it's free to use. There are tons of great things you can use Reality Composer for. It is very powerful, but I'm going to be showing you some of the basics here. And so a little bit about what Reality Composer does. You can do animations, audio, you can convert any models to it. Again, Apple makes this extremely easy for being able to get started with this. So as a beginner themed conversation here, this is what's really important. So let me go ahead and drop this down, And let me just drop this down as well. And let me go ahead and kind of move my screen here so we can follow along. So let's go back and go to Reality Composer. How do we build this experience, right? How do we make this possible? Let me see if I can actually just share that only thing here. I don't know if it lets me. Wow, it doesn't even let me do that. Oh, it's a shame. Okay, we'll just go ahead and add this back to the stream. So no worries. All right, how do we make this happen? So once you have Reality Composer, so again, you're just going to Reality Composer. We're going to go here. We're going to create a new project. You can kind of see that I've kind of done the same demo over and over again because it's pretty fun. But we're going to go and create a new project. And what's great about Reality Composer is that it lets me choose what are the different anchors or the things that the AR experience is going to live on. For example, I can use it for flat surfaces. I can use it for vertical surfaces. I can actually have it track an image, and when it recognizes said image, it actually plays an AR experience on it. So maybe a card or a poster or something like that. It's really cool. I can even do face. I can do objects. I can scan an object and then have an augmented reality thing next to it. So it's pretty cool like that. So these are the different things you can do with Reality Composer. Again, making AR experiences on iOS is really easy. Going ahead with this demo, let's go ahead and just create a horizontal tabletop experience. And so I'm automatically given this demo of a box. Out the gate, I have some tools at the top here. And I'm going to pull it and play with my cursor. So I'm going to turn my cursor on. So at the top here, we have undo. We have new for a new shape. We have the plus to play. If I press this plus button, it's going to simulate. It's going to simulate the actual experience. So if I wanted to test it or I wanted to see what it's going to be like, there's an option there. It goes into AR mode. So if I click on AR mode, it's actually just going to go ahead and put this inside my augmented reality space. And so here, it's going to show that. And just like I mentioned before, if I press the play button, it's going to go ahead and take away that editor and kind of show me what it looks like in the real life. And of course, real life occlusion is on. So if I put my hand, it's going to try to block it. So it's really neat. So let's go ahead and get out of AR mode and let's figure out how we're going to make a rocket ship go up into the sky. So one thing we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and select this right here. I'm going to tap on it and I'm going to tap on it again. And I can select all because I want to select the text and the box. I'm going to tap on it again and I'm going to delete. So once that's just how easy it is, right? We're just starting in a plain empty state. We're going to go ahead and do this. Now, what makes augmented reality really work are 3D models. You can get 3D models, you can make one yourself, you can download them from the web, you can really do whatever. 3D models are pretty much universal across the board. You have to convert them or you can use a specific format. So if you're familiar with 3D models, there's like OBJs, there's GITFs, there's like different formats that you can use. Apple uses a very fundamental one, the one that was built off what Pixar made called USD, and specifically USDZ. So with all that in mind, you need a 3D model. Luckily, Apple includes a lot of free usable models that we can go for. So if I tap on that plus button that was up here, you bring up the content library. And now I can import my own. I can use all different sorts of models here. As you can see, there's a lot of them that we can download, completely free to use, completely open source in the sense that you can use it for what you want. But I want to go to the toys and I want to download the rocket ship. And so here, I tap on the rocket ship and I can go ahead and start playing with it. No, you're not late. We're just kind of learning how to build AR experiences on Reality Composer, so no worries. Cool, we got a rocket ship now. If we tap on the rocket ship, we're given a lot of different properties. So I can tap on this button right here. So this button that I'm kind of hovering over is the different information about this. I can give it a name. I can actually change the style based on the model. So this is something that Apple's kind of included. So if I click on it, I can do like a realistic ship. You can see the realistic rocket ship. I can do a stylized, or I can do like an iconic, like let's paint it, let's add some colors. So I'm just going to go with like a stylized. I really like the stylized look of this rocket ship. I can also say that it has, it participates in physics. So if I wanted to collide with other stuff like that. Now, here's the thing about Reality Composer and what makes it really easy. It was easy to import a model. It's also easy to manipulate the model. If I want to move it to the left, I just tap on the red circle, red triangle right there. So you probably just saw that. So if I click on it again, we can move it to the left. We can move it up. We can rotate it with blue, just like that. I can move around with my fingers. So with my fingers, I'm just moving around to get an idea of where I want it. Let's say I wanted this really big, like really, really big. And so now it's really big. I'm just going to move it up so it kind of hits the floor. There we go. And now I want to know, like, is this really, really big, like in real life? I can just easily go into AR mode. I can put it down. It's going to want me to scan a little bit. And now I can see I have a really big rocket ship. In fact, that rocket ship is a lot bigger. But I don't have to go in and out of AR mode. I can just automatically tap on it. I can scale, and I can make a little toy rocket ship just like that. So that's how easy it is to continue manipulating within Reality Composer for all these cool AR experiences we want to build. Anyways, let's actually do something. Let's make this do something. Let's make it shoot up into the sky. And let me show you how easy it is to do that. So we're going to click on the object we want. And if we go back to this little properties, this little thing here, that's all the things we use to manipulate it, to kind of stylistic. But if we go to this little menu, this extra menu here, we're given more options like info, behaviors. We can add multiple scenes for it to do. We can all do all these really cool, fun stuff. What we want is behavior because we want it to do something. So we're going to tap on behaviors and we're going to add a new behavior. So right here, we're going to add a new behavior. And we're going to say we can do tons of stuff. We can do tap and flip. So it flips after tapping it. It can play a sound after I tap it. It can kind of add some force. I can do all these cool things. I want to do a custom one. I want to do something myself. And so it's going to basically ask like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, what do you do for it to do something? So in this case, I want to tap on the rocket ship. And now that I did the interaction, what is it? What's the action, right? What do I need to do? And then what's the action here? And so here I want to do a move and rotate to. So I want to move it to a specific part in the scene. So if I zoom out, it's going to now show me the preview of what happens. So now I'm easily able to see an example of what would happen. So here I can go ahead and say, okay, you know what I want to do? I want you to move a little bit to the left. So again, just using my phone, I'm going to just kind of manipulate this. So I'm going to say, okay, we're going to move a little bit over. And I actually want to move this into the sky because just like a real rocket ship, I want it to move up. So I'm going to tap on this and I'm just going to go ahead and manipulate it. So let me actually fix the rotation here. All right, let's zoom on this and let me go ahead and fix the rotation on the rocket ship. So let's see. Let's go back to 0. There we go. So now it's straight. And so we're going to go back to the behavior here. So I want this rocket ship to move really high up. And so I can even define this up here. I can actually give it some specific, let's say 100 centimeters. So that's really far up actually. Let me do like maybe 5. That's still pretty far up, but that's okay. So when I tap on the rocket ship, so looking at the rocket ship here again, I can tap on it. I'm in the behaviors. I can even scale it if I wanted to go bigger or smaller, but we're going to just keep it the same. And what I'm going to do is then preview that. So I did that, but if you may have noticed, it was really fast. I pressed the preview button here to preview the behavior. And so by doing that, I can kind of zoom out and kind of see what would happen. And that rocket ship is taking off. So I need to play with the animation a bit. So I'm going to make the duration a lot longer, like almost 10 seconds. I can even do the easing type. If you're not familiar with easing types, it's basically how smooth do you want it? And I think like a real rocket ship, I want it to kind of have a little gravity and then go up into the sky. So I can go ahead and go to ease type. And I think I want to do ease out or maybe ease in. Let's find out. So if I do that, so start slowing down, maybe if I do ease in, there we go. So you may kind of see the behavior here. It takes a while for it to lift off. And so that's kind of what I want. So that looks good to me. We have a behavior. Let's see this in the real life. So let's play with it. Let's press the play button so we can get an idea of what that's like. Let's tap on it. And there it goes. It's taking off. So now let's see that in the real world with AR. I can go ahead and go to AR to test it. I can put it on this table. I'm going to go hit play to interact with it. And now that I press play and tap on the rocket, it should shoot up in the sky. And just like that, you've now learned how to recreate some easy AR experiences with any model, with any behaviors, with anything you want to do. I can add a sound when I tap on it. I can add multiple behaviors. I can have something else appear. There's a lot of cool things you can do, but this is one easy way to create AR experiences. And again, this is possible on an iPad. This is possible on a phone. It's also possible on the Mac because it's a free application you can use on the Mac. And so one thing you can do is be able to continue to use that because even today, as I worked on this, I was able to synchronize using my iCloud, and actually I can pull the same project. This is the exact same project right here. And what's cool is, let's say I wanted to actually work off my computer first. If you have a Mac and you have an iPhone as well, you can actually do all of this within your Mac. I can go to behaviors, I can scale it, I can edit all I want to do. In this case, it kind of tells me what's going on. So here you can kind of see how far it goes. Now, let's say I wanted to actually edit this on my phone. You can actually send it to your iPhone and play on it. So these are all things that are important if you're trying to learn how to do AR on iOS. But again, this is just one tool of many that you can use to be able to do that. So hopefully that was really helpful on how easy it is. Again, all of this is made with Reality Composer. So I want to make sure that everyone had the link for Reality Composer in the chat. But that is how we build some really cool AR experiences using Reality Composer. It's easy. You can use any model you want. You can import models. There are tons of versions out there. You can interact with it and do all sorts of things. That's one easy way to do it. So, are there any questions about AR and iOS by any chance? I know kind of a quick, easy demo, and some of you were probably following along or just watching. But again, when it comes to AR on iOS or Apple devices, it's really easy to build it. If anyone ever has experience trying to build AR experiences on anything other than probably maybe a Project Arrow, it's really hard to go from zero to hero, where you can have your model and then have AR. And then from here, I can share it. So if I wanted to share my actual thing, I can go to export and I can export the project. I can share it with friends. I can airdrop it. I can do all sorts of different things with it. So that is the power of AR and iOS. Just one thing to keep in mind if you are an Apple user and you want to build some really cool AR experiences. So, any questions or anything I can show anyone? It's really easy and fun. So, highly recommend you try it out. I'm sure there's tons of tutorials even on YouTube to do something like this. I haven't actually looked it up. This is kind of my go-to demo for showing folks on how to kind of learn how easy it is to do it. Kind of like the ideal project of how easy it is, because it really is harder in any other circumstance. Yeah, you should definitely try it out. I highly recommend that if you have an idea or you want to build something in AR really cool, highly recommend it. So some websites, that's a really good one. I think there's a website called USDZ Share. That's a really popular one. It's a sharing platform. So let me share this link. But it can be any 3D model that you typically find. Sketchfab is the world's leading 3D model websites. So I'm gonna share this one. USDZ Share is like ready to go 100%. But another one is Sketchfab. If you're familiar with anything of 3D models, Sketchfab is the world's best, all of that. So all of these are for free. The Reality Composer is for free. The Sketchfab has free downloads you can use. USDZ has free models you can use as well. If you really want some high quality or custom models, you can do it yourself or pay someone commission to do so. But to create AR experiences, all you need is an Apple device, so no additional software costs required. You're all set. So, great question. It is all free. Well, if there are no other questions and no one's curious about anything else, I really hope that you can take away this project as something that if you are an existing Apple user of some kind and you have these resources, check it out, build your ideas, show off something really cool. If you're a Windows user and you kind of want to get an idea of how to build something really cool, again, I linked it in the chat, but Project Eero, this is by Adobe Eero. I keep saying project because I'm so used to when it was in beta. But it's a really cool program made by Adobe, very similar. It's a little different. It's a little bit trickier, but it does have a Windows application. Uh, Kind of the same idea, right? Someone asked if the skills are transferable. It's the same thing. Like, do you know to work with models? Do you know about triggers? Do you know about the interaction? You can see here that it's kind of the same case where they have the start, the stop, very similar thing here. You can build like a timeline. It's actually kind of cool. Um, Really easy to do things like this. And there's some really cool tools. Why Apple doesn't support making apps on other platforms other than Apple platforms? I guess the reality is that they don't need to. They prefer to just support the things they make on, right? They control the software and the hardware. So for them, it's much easier to focus on a great quality on their platform because one of the great things about the iOS on iPad or iPhone is the A12 up to A15 chips. They know how to tune it so that it works perfectly, especially if you're using an iPad with a LiDAR sensor or using an iPhone with a LiDAR sensor, taking those capabilities even further. They don't really support anything outside of the Apple ecosystem. And one of the reasons why is because they don't prefer not to. As a previous Apple employee, one of the reasons why I know so much about this is because I know a lot of the cool people who built this and made this happen. And again, there are a lot of things that they're able to tune and really work and build because of the tight iteration between software and hardware. So there's another benefit why that applies to most of Apple things, right? They can deliver it and make it free because you already have the hardware, whether it's Mac, iPad, iPhone. So it's a pretty frustrating thing that they built something really powerful and really cool that's for free that is not available on anything but their devices. But the caveat is that it is able to be a really great platform because of that same thing. So it's a very big double-edged sword. Um, I'm personally much more equitable. Like I believe that you should support all sides, but push comes to shove, there's a reason why it's that way. So yeah, no, it was a great time, great memories, great experience, amazing people. Um, I've always been an Apple fan, so then working there, you kind of see how the sausage is made. So it's a very high standard. So cool. Well, I think we're going to wrap this session up. Again, I want to share all these links, so you have something to kind of learn and do and play with augmented reality because that is such a big thing that's still growing. We're playing with AI, we're playing with machine learning, we're playing with AR and VR. There's all these cool things available for you to play with and learn and explore and build and do whatever you want. So, in the spirit of Global Hack Week, I hope everyone builds something really fun, has fun, and learns a lot. And whether you were following along or you were kind of just watching and seeing how this works, hopefully you learned something and hopefully you have a great Global Hack Week. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this session. More things to come on the Global Hack website. And as always, I'm super happy to answer any questions when I find the time to on Discord. So feel free to reach out. But thanks for the great stuff. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's really fun. I look forward to delivering more fun stuff in the future. So absolutely. Thanks, you all. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, all right. Have fun. Enjoy the other sessions, and I'll see you on the other side.